Actually doing this. Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a wonderful day. My name is Georgia. If you haven't read my posts on the Gigi compilation before, please do. I will put a link. But today I want to talk to you about breakups and the ways to deal with that feeling of death or insanity that we experience when we're coping with the worst of them. I'll also try and give you some tips to try and rationalize the feelings when you're having them to make them a little less awful, and so that you can cope with them better and hopefully move with them a lot more quickly. Taking my hair out because I need to be comfortable to talk about this. And waking up feeling like a truck had just run over me every single morning was it was not something that I had experienced before ever in my life. When you're dealing with your first breakup, it feels like the pain is never going to go away. And every breakup that you go through, it is going to feel that way. But obviously, the first time you ever experience it, it is going to be an enormous shock to the system. And I remember when I was experiencing my first breakup, it didn't matter who gave me the advice, what the advice was, whatever I read, whatever research I did, anything and everything that I was trying to do to make myself feel even just a little bit better was not working. And I remember in that, like the most awful first 2 weeks, there was one piece of information that I came across. And I actually came across this on an app called Mend. It's an app specifically for breakups. I will talk about it a little bit more later. But it made my brain go, oh my gosh, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I am going to move through this. And that's the piece of information I'm going to share with you now. When we break up with someone, our body becomes very quickly, very abruptly deprived of two hormones in our body, and they are called oxytocin and dopamine. These are also referred to as the happy hormones in our body. So when we're in a relationship with someone, we obviously have a lot more, not just emotional intimacy, but we obviously have physical intimacy. We're holding hands, we're kissing, whatever it is. So when you participate in activities like that with another person, you're going to produce larger amounts of your happy hormones than you would if you were just hanging out with a friend. So they essentially are your biggest happy hormone supply. When you cut off that supply, our body receives it in the same part of the brain that becomes active when we are experiencing physical pain. And that's when the body sends cortisol, which is our stress hormone, or one of our stress hormones, to all the parts of our body that are experiencing the physical pain. So if you have experienced a post-breakup cold, any digestive or immune system issues, you're getting stomach aches, you can't eat, you can't sleep, that'd be because your cortisol is trying to fix a physical pain that isn't actually there. The experience of a breakup is actually very comparable to addiction recovery, believe it or not. So, using an addict in recovery from a particular drug, for example, their body will experience the same withdrawals from the oxytocin and the dopamine as you will post breakup. You are literally having withdrawals from a kind of drug. I promise you it will pass. As for some tips to just getting through the days in those like really early horrible parts after a breakup, having something to do every day, planning things, so important, and this will work for everybody. Also something that pretty much saved me, and something that I took all of my ideas from and I recommend to everybody because I think it's fantastic, is this book here, which is Uncoupling by Sarah Davison. She is a leading breakup and divorce coach in the UK, and she knows what she's talking about. She has a whole bunch of exercises and activities in here that you can do to help you get through the days, plan out what you want to be doing with yourself in the next month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, and it just gives you something to focus on. She has lots of lists and things to complete in there if you wish. And then I highly recommend checking out Sarah Knight. She is a self-help author, I guess. I'm not too keen on the name of that category, but it's the most applicable one. And she has a series of books. This one that I'm holding here is called Get Your Shit Together. Oh, there we go. And she's hilarious. Like, she writes such funny, funny, funny books. But it's actually incredibly helpful. And again, this is going to help you start, I suppose, living by yourself again, readapting and becoming yourself and living without the influence of another, another person in your day-to-day life, without having to compromise with a significant other, things like that. It's not specifically for a breakup situation, but hey, it's just as helpful. She also has another couple of books called The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck and You Do You, which I think is her most recent one, and I haven't got around to reading them, but I highly, highly, highly recommend that. So I only just realised as I was editing this that my microphone had actually glitched in that final part. So I just wanted to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to leave all the links to everything that I mentioned in the video. And this was my first ever video that I'm posting online. So I know it wasn't the best quality, but it's a start. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know. I'd love to make some more in the future. And have a very nice day, everyone.